Hello and welcome to this episode of Anders, and this one's about share classes. Share classes are a way for mutual funds they're basically commissions. So typically you hear A, B, and C shares. There's other ones as well, but I'm going to stick with A, B, and C shares because those are the most common. Okay, so A shares are basically upfront commissions for mutual funds. And typically it's anywhere between 2.5 all the way up to 5.75, depending on what it is, and they charge that up front. So let's say it's 5%, you put in 100,000, they're actually going to take $5,000 as a commission, send it to the advisor, and then you won't have any ongoing commissions except for maybe some 12b1 fees and some other fees that can be in there. Those are sometimes good for people who want the very long term. And let's say you're going to go in and know that your account's going to be there for 15, 20, 25 years, that might be a decent option. Then you also get into B shares, and B shares are becoming much less common nowadays because B shares are the same commission, but they backload it, meaning that you have to stay in for a certain period of time. They don't charge you up front, but you have to stay in the account for 5, 6, 7 years. And one of the problems with that is if you're in the market, what if you need to change? What if you have a life change, something else, and then there's a big fee to move the money? The last one is a C share. So a C share is good if you plan on going in for about a year to 2 years, and you go in the C share. They don't charge you anything up front, but they charge you about between 0.5 to 1%, depending on the account, more in a fee on the actual money. And as long as you've had the account there for 1 year, there's no fee to move it out. But if you move it out in the first year, then they charge you a 1% fee on it. So, I know this can be confusing with the alphabet soup, but what I would say is just know what you're getting into. And for most people that are watching this, if you are a retiree, or if you have a 401k or something like that, or a 403b, you might want to consider going with institutional shares, meaning that you pay a little bit more in like a management fee, an asset-based fee, but then you can move it to whatever you want. You're not restricted. You're not paying a big upfront sales commission, because oftentimes if you pay a big upfront sales commission, the advisor's already been paid 3, 4, 5 years ago. They might not be there to service the account as often as if they were paid ongoing. So just something to think about. Make sure you know what you're getting into when you're looking at your mutual fund and it says the mutual fund name and then an A after it, or the mutual fund name and a B or C after it. That's pretty much what you're buying. Now, last thing is sometimes you'll see A shares and they're load waived, meaning that you don't have to pay anything to get into them. Those are good as well, but that's not very common. So I hope that helps you understand what A, B, and C shares are. There's a bunch of other ones too if you really want to get into the alphabet soup, but the A, B, and C are the most common, and I hope that helps you out a little bit.